1 year later, Milton Obote became president, but the terror continued. Under Obote, it's estimated several 100,000 people were killed. In July, he too was overthrown in a military coup, and now that government is waging war against yet another rebel army. The journal's Madina went to Uganda and found no peace in the country.
Uganda doesn't give up its past easily. But today, at least, it's trying to have faith in a future.
Let us pray for these children whom we bring to baptism in the name of our Lord, and say together.
A family gathers in Kampala to celebrate a christening with the proud father. Ugandans want so much to live normally again, but optimism is new to them. It doesn't go with their past. Their spirits have been badly battered by recent history.
I know that by and large the name Uganda is associated with all the tragedy which has been unfolding in this land for the last many years. But today, you know, in Uganda we have a unique opportunity to begin a new era.
In a field near Namalongi, the proof of the old era lies scattered in the brush. So far, the villagers say they've counted 7,008 skulls. For 4 years, a special forces unit under Obote had their barracks here, leaving behind its unique record of performance. Last month, the symbol of that past, Obote's medallion, was taken down. Quietly, Ugandans watched as the monument to a man who had been president once and came back to be president again came down. There were no cheers, just bitter thoughts.
This country sacrificed blood just to bring down that medallion is symbolic, but we took a lot in terms of human lives to bring that medallion down. This is the second time we're bringing it down. And we hope that from now on, we'll have a better Uganda.
But the better Uganda is not here yet. In Kampala alone, a city of 100,000, 5, 6, sometimes more, die violently each night. Were there fewer bodies brought in after Amin left, or about the same?
It was the same.
And now, is it better or not?
It is a bit okay.
A bit okay, but still...
They are still dying.
Uganda. The very word evokes unspeakable images. But last July, Ugandans began to hope that that could change. Peace was almost there. They could almost touch it. But now they wonder if their legacy of violence is too ingrained to be reversed. No single leader seems to have the power or the support or the control to change the country's direction. So last summer's hope is now being replaced by the more familiar fear of the gun. A few weeks ago, one of the main roads to Kampala was taken over by the National Resistance Army. Although formed to fight Obote, the NRA, as it's called, represents today's main rebel threat to the new government. They marched in, basically unopposed. They took up positions by the roadside, and they waited.
The people who are conscious politically, they know what they are doing and what Uganda wants.
They're disciplined.
Yeah.
The unit's commander was proud of his men, but despite his flamboyance, he was not there for show. Do you expect the army here?
Here? Yes, that's why we are here.
They were ready, an odd army of resistance. Many were young, even 12 years old. And their uniforms were a grab bag of boots, jackets, and weapons. But despite their appearance, they did the job. Banana and fuel trucks headed for Kampala were turned back. The NRA had cut the road. Oddly enough, the army did nothing to stop them. But there were rumors and reports that the government army would move on the city of Masaka. Battles between the army and the NRA had already taken place in 2 other cities that week. So the residents, they were taking no chances.
Why are they leaving Masaka? They have told us to leave the place.
Are a lot of people scared?
Yes, most people are scared.
In the city itself, the last few were packing what they could. They didn't know whether they would be away for a day or a month.
I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
So the soldier is fighting now.
You're worried that people may get killed?
Yes.
It took only a few hours, but the 3rd largest city in Uganda had gone silent. The only people comfortable on the streets were the rebels, since the army had retreated. The few government troops that hadn't were now prisoners, awaiting their turn at terror. The new military council had overthrown Obote, only to face a new self-appointed power. Masaka, like the other towns in western Uganda, had changed hands. Even the prison was empty. Captor and prisoner had switched roles again. Today it's Masaka, with the empty streets and the closed shops. Last week it was Mubende and Matunya. Sometimes the fear is there because they feel a battle is about to begin. Sometimes it's because they fear the army could come in and loot and kill and rape. In each case, the fear is against each other. Ugandan versus Ugandan.
Nkubi. Era bwa mutundu awo. Waliwo n'omwana wange gwe bakubisa essasi wano.
These people from Chavunze are running from their own army.
What was he saying?
He's saying that many of those killed have been left on the wayside. He's got a son who has a bullet wound on his chest. He's here, near here.
For the past 3 days, they had walked more than 20 miles, one leaving a dead husband, another 2 slaughtered neighbors.
Most
of those who wouldn't make it have remained there. Those the old ones. The young ones have fled. Those who haven't fled have been killed, and the bodies have been left in the open.
The families from Chavunze were only one group of many to take refuge in an old cotton mill. This was in an area that the Red Cross felt was too dangerous to deliver aid to. There were stories of children being raped, pregnant women's bellies being slit open, and their eyes told an outsider that too much of it must have been true. There was no army here, but still people were nervous.
Do you feel safe here, or have you heard that they're coming here today or anything?
Yeah, I can't feel safe because this is not the place where we use it to stay, and I can't really think that all the people who are staying here now are feeling safe.
The group from Chavunze did not, and the next day began their walk to still another town. But it was hard to find a place unmarked by violence. Recent attacks by the army throughout this area, called the Luwero Triangle, had left town after town deserted. Those who stayed were too old or too scared to run. A week before, 1,500 students and teachers had made the same kind of escape, where the only protection was a prayer.
Lord, we are coming. Please protect us on our way as we come. You are our strong rock. Please, land us safely.
Now, having reached Kampala, the school principal, Joyce Kadu, is helping to house more than a dozen staff and their children. For the first time in almost 60 years, there are no classes, only meals to prepare. The school had stayed open under Amin and Obote, but not now. Although everyone is safe here, they wonder if the fighting might come to Kampala. If uniformed men might hurt them here, or if there might be another coup. They're anxious for any news that might tell them it's safe. That's their small battle.
I think everybody's fighting a war in one way or another. The people can fight the war with guns. The people can fight the war with money. But our own simple fighting the war is to say that all these children coming to school, whether they've got money or not, let's put them in school.
But you've lost. You've had to leave.
We've lost. We've had to leave. But we're still hopeful that this is not the end.
What they hope for is one power that is strong enough militarily to win decisively. And they hope for some leader that is strong enough to control the army's unchecked violence. So far, Uganda's Chief of Defense Forces, Basilio Okello, has been unable to achieve either goal.
Stand up!
What the government has done is to persuade some rebel groups who had fought against Obote to hand over their arms. They're not as strong as the NRA, but they now back the military council. Now they sing not for their cause, but for Uganda's as a whole.
Whatever comes out of here, let's go to the council.
Andrew Kayira is one of those rebel leaders who joined the military council, but he did not give up his arms. For now, he's concentrating on meetings, but soon he feels he may have to make a choice.
We may not have to take sides yet, till after some time. One thing that is making the situation difficult is are the reports of atrocities being committed by UNLA, the indiscipline in the UNLA. And that has been one of the items on the agenda today. And, I had to speak very strongly on it.
Do you believe the reports?
Of course I do.
There is no doubt that the killings are continuing, and that despite steps like this release of prisoners, Uganda's new leaders still aren't trusted. Part of the problem is the prisoners see some of the same faces they saw in the past. Tito Okello, the head of state, served under Obote. Amin Onzi headed the feared intelligence service under Idi Amin. Too many of the country's new leaders are old faces tainted with the past, and few Ugandans believe that they didn't play some role in the system they're now trying to change. Like the country as a whole, the prisoners welcome the leaders. And old adversaries can shake hands. Like Uganda after the coup, they're happy to see Obote out. They're happy to have a little breather of freedom. But they can't quite believe that the new regime will bring peace.
Well, at least in words and in deeds, they talk of change, that they have changed. And they talk of peace. And they are not involved in the atrocities right now, if indeed they are genuine. But they have to show it by dealing with their juniors.
Have they shown that yet?
Well, not yet, not right now. And that's what I've been demanding. I want to see it soon, if not tomorrow.
With the best of intentions in the world, with the best efforts possible, you cannot make a miracle overnight. What is important is that there should be a systematic effort to change things. And I see the signs of the systematic efforts everywhere.
How delicate a time is it? I mean, is there a slim chance for peace, or is it greater?
We have a unique opportunity. But like any opportunity, it depends how you manage it. It could usher in a new era if properly managed, or it could waste, and then we sink into a deeper mess than that from which we are trying to pull ourselves out.
The leaders say they want change, the people want peace, but the cycle of violence hasn't stopped, at least as long as so many old faces and old allegiances remain. Many Ugandans are now calling for a new beginning, a clean slate that would ban all the politicians and military commanders from leadership. It sounds so simple, but it's a dream. Monuments like Obote's medallion may be taken down and hidden away, but men who are used to power With both the benefits and abuses, they can't be removed that easily. In some form, they will hang on, just as the people are trying to hang on to hope.
We are crying for our nation. We are crying for our leaders, God. Open their understanding. Open their minds, God. That they can understand that without you.
For those who can't fight an army,
because when there's no peace in the country,
for those who can't elect their own leader,
be able to do the work of God.
A desperate prayer is all that's left.
When there's no peace in the country.
For the Journal, this is Madina in Uganda.